Good morning and welcome to my vlog. Well, it's been quite a while since I've sent any vlogs out, and it's not a question I haven't wanted to. It's a question of really been time and workload and things that have been going on. I've actually taken a few days off to get some work done around the house and the garden, actually. And I thought I would take a quick opportunity to give a quick update in terms of what's going on, what's happening, and what's going on in the future. Well, apart from me off, it's my Richie's off as well. So although she's not here at the moment, she's gone off to do one of her favourite pastimes at one of the markets with a friend. So that's where she is at the moment this morning. Um, Kids are still at school this week. They break up at the end of the week, so we're sort of getting geared up, ready for summer and summer vacations. And there's been quite a lot going on with business, with imports and products we've got coming in from various parts of the world, and also some stuff we've got going on in the Philippines. So there's quite a few activities going on that I've had to catch up on as well. Just to talk a little bit about a few of the subjects that are close to my heart and what I've been reporting on in videos over the last 12 months. First one is with regards to South Africa and South Africa's future. It's been hitting the media, hitting the press over here very recently, and I first picked it up with a report I got from a close friend of mine, Paul Tilsley, who lives out in South Africa, who works for a number of networks, including Fox News. And he wrote an article about the violence in Cape Town and the impact it would have on tourism. And I've been hearing lots of other reports coming in from various channels over the last couple of weeks on that. Now, Cape Town has never been sheltered from violence. There has always been a gang culture in the poorer locations, poorer suburbs, Mitchell's Plain, Philippi, Charlesville, all these sort of places, and it tends to be very much drug orientated, which is built up on the basis of lack of work as much as anything else, like anywhere else in the world where there's a problem with drugs and gun culture generally, and but it has escalated to the extent where the police have not been able to get a grip of it, and even the military have been called in to try and separate these these groups, these gangs that are out there that are causing all this mayhem. And the body counts have been absolutely horrendous. I mean, people have been dying in the streets in the dozens on a weekly basis, and there's been a lot of emphasis on what to do and how to prevent this happening. And the main concern as well being that it's going to dry up the revenues that do come into that part of the country, because obviously Cape Town is a tourist destination for many parts of the world, and let's be clear, it's a very beautiful part of the world. It's got fantastic beaches, fantastic mountains, the winelands, great places to stay, and the climate is fantastic as well. So it has everything going for it in that respect, geographically. But obviously, when you got literally war zones surrounding it, it's going to put tourists off. So as this information leaks out into the international media, tourist companies are going to find it more and more difficult to sell tickets, to sell seats, put bums on seats, as it were, into this part of the world, and that obviously is going to have a major impact on the economy in South Africa. Now, South Africa needs a boost in its economy to help get more people into jobs, because the problem in South Africa is a social one, in as much as a large proportion of the population do not work, cannot work, and obviously because they have difficulty, either they don't have qualifications, sufficient qualifications to get a job, if they're fortunate enough to get through their college. But number two, when they do get through college, there's no jobs for them anyway, and that's where the problem is. Now, I know there's a lot talked about the white-black divide and everything else, and that's the cause of the problem. Well, it's not. I mean, it is definitely not. The problem is people are not in a position to find work. They cannot provide for their families, and that is the problem. Yes, majority of those people that have a problem in finding work are black people, sure, but what's the same applies with white people as well, that are in situations now where they can't find work. That situation seems to be getting worse, and I'm not sure how I can see it getting any better, especially as violence escalates in parts of the country. South Africa does need help from the international world to get itself back on track as a popular destination for the tourist and a popular destination for trading. There has always been fantastic trade opportunities with South Africa, not just in terms of its mineral wealth, but its food production and its tourism, and it's so it has got a lot of things going for it in many respects. It's a vast country, and you could say it's a sparse population in comparison with the size of the country, but it does need help, and it needs help to rectify the lack of work, the lack of jobs, because that's where it starts. I'm afraid the government can only do so much, and they've got a hell of a job on their hands at the moment, trying to make things work. I know there are some countries that try and become a little bit more forthright in trying to do things in the country for their own order, like the Chinese. But I think it needs more of a Africa generally, and every country is different in terms of how it's worked. But to me, South Africa still has a great deal of common ground and common good. There are people in South Africa that can add tremendous value if they're given the opportunity to work it through and make it happen. And the racial question needs to be dropped out of the window. I think Britain has got to play a much larger role in helping this process, as have other countries in the world. We have to succeed in breaking the huge poverty gap in Africa, and let's focus on South Africa to kick this off. People are becoming more and more. Sorry, that's my phone. I'm going to have to cut this for a second. Hold on. There's no easy solution for the problems in South Africa, but I do think it starts with people making commitments. And when I say people, I mean people inside South Africa and people outside South Africa. People who can make the difference. I'm talking about leaders in business, leaders in political circles, from inside and outside the country, have got to get together and create a forum that can start the process of working towards building an infrastructure and an economy that puts people into work. In South Africa, to improve export opportunities, to improve import opportunities, tourism, all that kind of thing, and make a success of it. It's in the hands of people, but it's got to be a process of focus, hard work and effort together to make it happen. That way I can see hope. Never been done anywhere else. The same applies in every country of the world. It requires the world taking initiatives to help countries pull through their difficult times and make things work. You know, we hear a lot about sanctions, and we hear a lot about putting pressure on with the strength of one particular country against another. It doesn't work. And it's a shocking disgrace when we have countries that feel they're under threat, so then they put themselves in a position of non-negotiating with other parts of the world, and people, the poor people of the country, starve. They become refugees. Many families are broken up. People just die. We don't want that to continue anywhere in the world. We've got to make it happen in a positive way, and the only way it's going to happen is by people working together in group forums that can make change, commit to things and make change. We've got to change the whole table of how we think and work. And I'm afraid that's what South Africa requires, because it can't sort its problems out internally on its own with one political party trying to make it happen. Political parties fail. We can see that in our own country here in the UK as well, as is happening in the rest of Europe. There needs to be a focused approach from people in society all over the country and across the world. Anybody who has any dealings with South Africa has got to be part of it. Anybody who wishes to have a future with South Africa has to be a part of it. And obviously people in South Africa also need to be part of it. And that's what I think has got to happen. Now, it's a dream, but I believe there's enough sense in South Africa to make that happen. Talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.